Drogba indirdi ceza. Snyder. Snyder gol! Allah'ım gol! Muslera. Fernando Muslera. Golün adı Muslera. Sarıyoglu. Drogba! This is incredible!
Merhaba and welcome to episode 15 of the Lion's Den, a Galatasaray podcast done by the community for the community. I'm your host, well, as you can clearly see, not Samet, this time it's Salih, and we got 4 members of the crew today. From Brooklyn, New York, we got Emre. How are you doing, Emre? Still,
man.
Still on that stomach ache?
Stomach ache and the pain from seeing the, crypto gains going down, Not even thinking about Galatasaray anymore, man. My heart hurts too much as of late.
It's been stabbed from multiple angles, as I can hear. No more coming back. Right? I would normally say good to hear, but this time it's on the sad side. On to John. Have you come out of traffic? How are you doing?
I'm out of traffic. I'm a free man. Thank you for having me once again. Salih killed the intro. Amazing. Rivaling Samet. I don't know. We're going to have to see going forward. That was a good one.
We don't even need him anymore.
Yeah, I'm going to take a spot. We can just skip him already.
Yeah,
right?
you have my vote. That was a good one. That was pretty good. Good job, man.
On another side note, how did your friendly go? You had a friendly?
Yeah,
yesterday?
I had a...
That's why you got into traffic?
Yeah, the sun is out in my area now. Toronto is no longer freezing cold. We're out in shorts and t-shirts, so we're back on the pitch. Friendly was okay. We lost 3-2, but we have some new pieces to add to the team this summer. So we're working through it, seeing how we can do things this summer, where we can go and stuff like that. So it was a good start, and I'll keep you guys posted.
That's good to hear. So the pitchforks weren't out for that loss?
No, not yet.
Okay, thank God. And lastly, our Croco buddy from Melbourne, Australia. How are you doing, Mazhar?
I'm doing very well. I think that Croco joke's getting a bit old. I think
a bit out of hand.
We need a new one.
We need a new nickname. Yeah, as the new host, I think you should come up with a new nickname.
Yeah, that was not original, bro. Come on.
Okay.
It's
For
fine,
next
bro.
time,
You gotta prove yourself,
time.
why you deserve
Right.
to be here as the host instead of Summit,
That's true. I'll work on it. Don't worry. How's the house? It's finally finished, right?
House is finally finished, bro. Completely moved in. Thank
Hail
God
Sosa.
for that. Thanks, brother.
When are you inviting us, bro?
Now we're chilling. I'm not.
That was our chance
Okay,
to do the
straight
pod
down.
in person, man.
That was so pure as well. Like, he didn't even think about it. He was straight like, no. You're not allowed. All right, moving on. As I'm the host, and normally I do a fact of the week, I I still did my job here, and I'll give another fact, which I found pretty interesting. Found about it a week ago. And it has to do with pirates. So we all know they all have a eye patch, as we know. And what I initially thought is that it was due to battles or scars or whatever. But it happens to be, it's actually meant for... So you know when ships, they have to board each other, right? To start fighting. And the eye lap is actually put on right before battle. Because what they do, since most of the fight is under the deck, they switch it from eye to eye. So one eye is actually used to night vision and can see better in the dark. Because normally it takes about 15 to 20 minutes for your eyes to adjust to like very low amounts of light.
That's interesting.
I found it pretty interesting. Yeah, exactly. I always thought it was due to, I don't know, gunpowder or whatever. But
Where did you get that from? Because I heard that like a week or two ago. Was it on like a TV show or something?
It happens to be that I found it via a podcast. I forgot the name. And they basically introduced, they had a section where they had like a few facts, and basically what the host was trying to get is if it's cap or not. And in this case, it was apparently true.
It was true, yeah. I heard that. I think maybe I saw it on
Exactly.
TikTok or something. That's pretty sick, though.
Could be. Yeah, I was also really amazed. I was like, oh, damn, like, my whole life has been a lie. All right, moving on. As usual, we'll talk about some news, some recent events that have happened surrounding Galatasaray. So the first notable news I found is that Diagne seems to return to Galatasaray after a 6-month break, as seen on his Instagram posts, where he, says he's determined and missed us, pretty much.
Do you guys even want him back?
That's actually a good discussion point. Would you want him back?
I
personally don't.
I mean, like, he's a big personality. I like him for that, but I don't know. Do you guys? What do you like? Do you want? I don't even think he's a good football player, man.
He's better than Gomis, I guess. That's somewhere to start.
I think you're just having recency bias, mate.
You think so?
Bruh.
I don't know, bro. I think right now, everyone in this... Oh, not everyone. There's a few players that aren't replaceable. There's Markel, Nelson, and Terim.
Yeah.
Everyone else... And Muslera, of course. Everyone else, other than those four, could leave for all I care, and we can just play with our under-15s. And I don't think it would make a difference.
And I'll tell you this. I know Diagne has some more juice in his legs than Gomis. Like, I can guarantee... Like, Gomis doesn't even look like he can run anymore, man.
No, bro, he runs for 10 minutes and he's puffed out, man.
Yeah.
He's 37. You know,
it doesn't matter, bro. Then retire.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not a professional football player. I can play for at least 25 minutes on an outdoor pitch and not get out of breath. You're professional, bro.
And,
like, you should be better than that.
And bro, I think I might have mentioned this in the last episode, but it's pissing me off how he's said like 2 or 3 times now, oh, just wait until next season, you're gonna see the real Gomis.
Exactly.
Bro, that's pissing me off. Stop fucking scamming us, bro. We're not gonna see nothing next season, please.
He's just baiting us in, just trying to just get that extension. So we somehow buy it. I also don't. It's also pissing me off, not gonna lie. He's so, how should I put it? I mean, he's 37, so again, you can't expect too much from him. I mean, 37-year-old striker at Galatasaray. Of course, there's other 37-year-old players who are doing fine, but he's so lethargic. I just don't... In the modern game, I just don't see as much how he would work, since usually you have to defend as a whole unit, so all 10 players have to do it. And with him, it just feels like you're playing with 9 players, pretty much, when pressing and such. He's just there, up front.
He's pretty close to getting his extension, no? He needs 10 goals. He's already scored 5, no?
Has he scored 5? I thought it was 6, but yeah, he's
5 or 6.
Yeah. And then he is close to it. And of those 5-6 goals, how many pens were they again?
Yeah,
I think 3.
I was just gonna say that. Yeah, at least 3, I think.
I don't think he gets the extension. I hope not.
I hope not. Yeah, let's put it that way. So anyway, Diagne, wants to return again. Not looking forward to it, but there you go. Then there was these other rumors going around where Torrent was to be sacked or not to get sacked. And then the latest one was basically Burak Elmas saying that he's not in termination talks with Torrent. That is also interesting to hear, but in my opinion, good to hear that at least. I don't think we can afford much more chaos right now. Fırat Develioğlu will be running for president as the 3rd official candidate in June, seems like. There were also rumors about Mohammed wanting to leave, as there's again interest from France. And lastly, on the more football side and not necessarily like board or transfer wise, Sensibile and Campos have made agreements with 4 players, it seems to be. And agreement wise with these names, at least they say that there won't be any problems. And these names will be given to new management, as there will be re-elections, as we know. And that's pretty much that.
Do we have any names?
News would be that the name I saw was how do you pronounce it? Xaka, I think, from Lille. It was a 28-year-old midfielder.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that.
Yeah. The Portuguese guy. No.
Yes, the Portuguese guy, and indeed he's like 28. And there was, I forgot the name. There were like 2 names mentioned. I forgot the second one. I don't know if someone else saw it flying by or remembers it.
That's probably true.
I mean, Xaka makes sense because he's at Lille, and Campos is from Lille,
Yeah,
so
that's what I was gonna say.
guess
That's
that's
why
just
I think
connections.
that could probably be true. You know.
And he's been mentioned a few times before.
Yeah. Yeah, he has.
I
That's
think
correct.
like 6 months before, though, like during January, that he could come for relatively cheap and be part of our midfield, which we definitely need an upgrade there. So, and then more recent news, since we were supposed to record yesterday, but today broke out that Dursun Özbek and Ünal Aysal want to, actually Dursun Özbek wants to run for presidency, and Ünal Aysal had some comments about that he wants to pump in money or whatever, like 50 mil. I think that's total BS, but he wants to finish his unfinished work.
You mean
that's what he mentioned.
Bankrupting the club?
Again, yeah.
Yeah.
I guess that's what he
I'll
means.
I'll believe it when I see it.
You believe. And what do you think of Dursun Özbek again trying as a fourth candidate? Seems like
Anything, bro. Anything but that, please.
The thing is, the other two candidates aren't really like enticing either. That's how dire the situation is, that he can actually be a competitive candidate. That's actually sad. But this is Galatasaray, man. Eventually, someone will come and take that podium and lead us to greater heights, because it's happened before. So this is why I love Galatasaray. No matter what, like, we always find and climb ourselves out of any situation. So if it comes, I don't give a damn, because we'll make it out some way, somehow.
That's right, and we don't have to put imaginary stars on the front of our shirt or lift fraudulent
point.
trophies. We don't have to do any of that.
You see,
That trophy was such a joke, bro. I have friends that are like piss Fener supporters, like they're very koyu, and even they were saying like, this is embarrassing. Like, what is this? Like, every excuse they find, they're lifting up a trophy.
I can't think of a moment that is more embarrassing than that. Like, just for even just for Turkish football as a whole, that is dreadful, man. Like, it's cringe. Like, it's hard to even watch the clip of them on the pitch, like lifting that trophy and stuff. It's so cringe, man.
Yeah, and let me ask you guys. I know you guys are upset with the whole situation regarding Burak Elmas being, only a year in almost, and being, dethroned. But would you rather have that or be stuck with a basically dictator president like Burak Elmas? Ali Koç. You see, that's what I love about our democracies, that we don't have to deal with someone like Ali Koç. If he's been nothing but unsuccessful for almost 5 years, and Fener fans are dying to get rid of him, and they can't.
But see what he's doing, because what I think is that he's doing all of this shit to distract the fans from the fact that the trophy cabinet literally hasn't even been looked at in almost a decade. I think it's like 8 years or something. I think this is just a distraction. Like, their fans need something to celebrate. Like, they haven't celebrated anything in so long. That's why when they beat us, they run all around, because they don't win anything. They literally win nothing. So I think it's just a distraction, man. He's saving his own ass, and their fans are just so pathetic. They just eat it up. But I don't know. The bottom line is, of course. The bottom line is, winners focus on winning. We don't focus on losers. So there's not much more to say about that.
That's a very, very powerful way to end. That's very well said.
Drop the mic.
It's
right
actually,
now.
it is. Look, I initially didn't add it, but it is probably the most noteworthy news. I know it's not really as much Galatasaray related, but more Turkish football related. But it is exactly true what John said before. They just need something to hold on. Literally, since Ali Koç has been in power, every other big club has won the league, and they still haven't. While pretty much revamping their squad every 6 months. They how many defenders have they signed in the last few years? They literally recycle through them and just change them like underwear. But yeah, I think the words you just described are perfect. It's really cringe, and the way I've been discussing, the way I've seen it on Twitter as well, is there literally no one that thinks what the fuck are we doing? Like,
Yeah.
instead of self-reflecting and just looking at what we went wrong, because, you know, there can be stints where you just don't win. Instead of doing that, they just point fingers. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
the craziest thing I heard was Ali Koç accusing, I think, İmamoğlu of letting Trabzonspor win or whatever, and because he went on stage with a Bordeaux Mavi tie, and I'm like, that's so conspiracy theory, like that's just going way too far. Even he came out and said, like, bro, what are you guys on about? I'm not even, you know, I like Fener too, and he has photos of him in the stadium. Okay, all right. With the news out of the way, I think we should move forward to the prediction. Yeah, normally we do this at the end. This time we'll move it a bit closer. And as we know, Basaksehir and Galatasaray ended in a 0-0 draw. And, well, our glorious coach got it right. He predicted the exact same score with a 0-0 tie. Whereas the rest, basically Emre, Mazhar, me, and Samet, predicted a loss. Yasin also predicted the draw, but it was a 1-1. So, with that, let's go on to the match performance.
Do we have
before
to?
The match started, we unfortunately have to. I know it was a snooze fest, and there weren't really that many positives, although we'll get into it in a bit. What I wanted to start with is before the game started, Emre Kılınç was suspended. Marcao is still injured, unfortunately. And Muslera, Babel, and Van Aanholt were one card away from suspension. Lineup-wise, well, we changed a few plays around. After that horrific performance of Semih Kaya, we put in Alparslan Öztürk, of which I think had quite a decent game, actually. Except for one brain-dead moment, where he just gave the ball away for no reason. We also put in Berkan back, instead of Erik Pulgar, so going for a 4-1-4-1. And the rest is kind of the same. Actually, no, we had Mohammed too, starting. But yeah, what do you guys think of the match? I'll just start with Emre. What do you think of our performance in general against Basaksehir? Any positives we could take away?
I mean, it's like the classic Galatasaray. We always start off well. In the 15 minutes or so of the opening, it was good. You know, we were like toe-to-toe with them. We found some positions. We obviously couldn't finish. But after that, we just keep falling off, like slowly and slowly. And then second half, we just completely tapered off. And Basaksehir was just like overriding our whole squad. They were like completely in our half, just trying to score. And Muslera just went full on God mode and like literally kept a clean sheet for us. I can't think of a single like good thing that really like happened. Like, oh, good thing this kid got to play, because we didn't really see anyone young play other than Barış, and who just came on for like 3 minutes. Other than
and
that,
had a big
like,
chance too.
Yeah, he actually had a big chance. He had one chance that went a little too wide, and then one chance at the very dying minutes of the game, which could have actually won us the game, like right near the goalkeeper, but he couldn't finish it. He hit the post and it went out, and that was pretty much the end of the game. Yeah, I don't know. I really don't like how we just let teams override our whole midfield and just go ham on us in the second half. It's been happening quite consistently. I don't know what's going on, but it's something that I want to see handled. I don't know.
It seems to be a pattern, right? Like the first half, the first 10, 15, maybe sometimes even 20 minutes, we start pretty well. We play relatively fast. We do actually create chances, but I don't know what type of talk Torrent does at halftime. But second half, we're just dreadful. We do nothing. We don't take a shot. We do actually, relatively speaking, like ball possession wise, we're actually not that poor usually, but still, we're just showing we're not asking questions to their defense. We're just passing around. And this game, I think our first shot in the second half came around the 60th or 70th minute. That's like way too late. You should do more beforehand. So, I do wonder what goes wrong. Maybe John knows, as a coach himself. Like, what could go wrong during a halftime talk
Well,
with your team?
Well, I'm not sure what can go wrong, but I think one thing Torrent is not doing, and I kind of just think he's not capable of, which I was talking about last episode, was I just don't think he's capable of motivating our team properly. I gave the example of in the Nelson interview when he said when they're on the pitch and he knows he has Muslera behind him, he has that safety net, right? He gets confidence from that. I don't think you have that feeling when Torrent is on the sideline. Like you definitely had something like that with Fatih Terim. We spoke all about that last week. So I don't know what could go wrong at the half, in the tunnel or in the change room at halftime, but I just don't think he's able to motivate the team properly. And I don't know if at this point of the season, if the players are just not responding well to him, or what he's asking of the players, if they're just not capable of doing that, or if they don't feel comfortable doing that. And that could very well be the case, like exactly what Emre said. We started the match. We looked pretty motivated at the start of the match. Like we weren't playing amazing, but I thought that we showed some, sign that we could potentially score, maybe not necessarily win, but at least put the ball in the net. And then those hopes kind of just went away. And the second half started like we've seen in the last few games. And it was very uninspiring. And look, let's face it, we have a very, toothless team. We're toothless in attack. We have nothing other than Kerem that can really hurt teams. Like Kerem shows that little spark here and there, and he creates something out of nothing, and we say to ourselves, "Wow!" And we get teams in trouble. But without that, we're absolutely toothless. We have nothing to threaten teams with. And that's been a big problem with Torrent, and that's how I knew the game. Like I think I surprised some people when I initially said the game would be 0-0. I know
that's true.
Yasin was like, "Bro, that's a wild prediction," but I knew it was going to be something like that because we're not good enough to score. The only thing that we have going for us sometimes, not even all the time anymore, is our back line can be very sturdy. It can be. It can also be very flimsy at times, but Alpaslan came in. I thought he did pretty well defensively, but on our day, our backline is good, and I also include Muslera in that as well defensively because he just made a lot of clutch saves for us. But yeah, I mean, we're not good enough to score goals, so we're not going to win very many games. It's as simple as that.
I find it very interesting what you say before as well, like that the team is not motivated. And based on Dominic Thorne's comments, he always raves about how much motivation seems to be a thing in Turkey and no one talks about tactics. And he also mentioned, I believe, that motivation should come from the player itself. Like, I shouldn't tell you that you want this. You should want it yourself, like to win and give out a performance.
He's
What
not
do we
exactly
think
wrong. He's not
What do you
exactly
think
wrong.
of these comments? Yeah, Mazhar. Go ahead.
I actually agree with him. I know in the past I've criticized Torrent a lot, but that statement it's pretty true, and this is in all things in Turkey, right? We're a very gaz kind of people. We just all go off motivation, go off gas, and it can be overlooked that our tactics sometimes aren't the best, and it's pretty obvious that they aren't the best. But in this case, I think it's very hard to motivate the team. I do believe the coach should be motivating the team to a certain point, but after that certain point, I think the player has to have the hunger, has to strive to do it themselves. But having said that, we're 30 points behind first right now. We're sitting at 13th place. It's hard to motivate the team in this situation, especially when Torrent took over from Fatih Terim, who is pretty much a motivational speaker at this point. Taking the reins from him and then putting Torrent there, who doesn't really believe in motivation the way Fatih Terim does. It's a bit hard, given the club situation. It's also much harder on Torrent. It's just situation sucks.
So let me ask you guys this.
Yes.
This might be interesting. So what do you think would have happened if Torrent came in as one of the assistants, like it was originally planned, and we had more of a mix of, tactical ability with Fatih Terim's personality and aura and motivational skills?
It would not
What
work.
do you guys think? Well, aside from Fatih Terim wanting to control every single thing, and that if he wasn't like that and he allowed Torrent to be by his side and actually had an open mind as to what he had to say, well, how do you guys think that would have played out?
If he had an open mind, it would be amazing, right? Because Fatih Terim's not a bad coach. As much as people love to say he's a bad coach, he's not a bad coach. He's
Right.
still a very, really good coach and the best coach in Turkish history. That's just facts. But, if he was open to suggestions from his assistant managers and not just putting pawns there, it would have been an amazing thing to see, amazing sight to behold. But that's one of Fatih Terim's biggest flaws, right? That he doesn't take shit from nobody, and he doesn't take advice from nobody either. So that's a big what if scenario. Maybe they can make a TV show about that. What if Fatih Terim actually listened to other people?
Then maybe
they could put it at the at the end of Netflix documentary.
He wouldn't have as many
situation.
championships then. Maybe, who knows?
Maybe not. Maybe
if
not.
he wasn't as stubborn as he is currently,
Maybe not.
But let's be honest, man. Like everyone says, he's an ego. It's impossible not to have an ego and be that successful. I don't know any person that's really successful and not egotistic. Like, look at all the big managers. A lot of them are very stubborn and egotistical. You know what I mean?
Guardiola's egotistical. Klopp is egotistical to a certain extent.
Everybody. Mourinho is like the epitome of ego. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, so
I am Jose Mourinho.
The special one.
I am the chosen one.
Exactly.
So,
That is, to get back to that is a really hard question to answer. What would have happened? It could go either way. It could work wonders, as Maz said before. The pawns of Selçuk and Necati will then be removed, and we would have someone who has more knowledge rather than just say yes to everything what Fatih Terim says. But it could also end in chaos. The two could have just lots of arguments. I don't know, like. If Torrent suggested something, and Fatih will be like, "Nah, we're not going to do that." Then, what's the point?
I kind of see why he wouldn't have accepted him. Like, let's be real. Torrent is 59. Fatih Terim is 68. I think he's more in line of trying to produce proteges than trying to work with other established assistants. You know what I mean? I think it's more of a country thing. Like, I want to, replace someone at Galatasaray. Replace his, have a replacement for him, the next in line. Obviously, it wasn't Hasan Şaş or Ümit Daval. They've obviously parted ways. Then he brought on Necati and Selçuk. We saw how that went. But yeah, I don't know. And I kind of wish he would have stayed just until the season's end, because we've seen Fatih Terim's track record in the second half of seasons. He always makes some pretty crazy comebacks. If we're talking from that kind of perspective, I kind of believe that we would have ended better. We probably wouldn't be champions. It wasn't looking like we were going to be champions, but I'm pretty sure we would have ended at least top 6.
Top 6.
I don't know about
still not European spots, but still at least.
Well, potential Conference League if Trabzon wins the Turkish Cup.
Kupa, yeah.
Yeah.
That's an interesting take. I mean, that's definitely something to consider also at the end of the season, or whether he's going to get sacked or not. I still have no idea on what our new presidents actually want to do. I keep hearing lots of different names. I read about Rudi Garcia again, how he's apparently in talks with AEK Athens, or I think that team. We want to presume still. I don't know. It's a difficult situation for me. How I still see it is, it's the motivation part. He took over a team that's 12th. Players probably lost belief after seeing Fatih Terim lose, after this assistant manager.
Always said,
come in.
I don't blame Torrent for any of this. I think he's the person that's least responsible for this mess. In all honesty, But sometimes his words do kind of irritate me. I came this and this wasn't available, or a team was in this shape. Okay, but Hocam, you knew what you were expecting, what to expect. This is Turkey. That's the only thing that irritates me about some of the things he says. But other than that, I don't blame him as much as I do.
I get what you mean.
At the top.
I get what you mean. Excuses can go up to a certain part, but not with every loss that you go back to. But hey, this is not my team. You have to be pragmatic and still do or try to get something. out of these matches. Like, you can't always just go back to that. That's just very easy. Then every manager could do that. That's just not how it works.
Look at the basketball team, right? Pistiolis
Mhm.
came in. They were like not in great shape, but he won every single game, and now they landed third place. You know, that wasn't his
Mhm.
team when he took over. He made something of it.
That's
Yeah,
true.
I think
Go ahead.
I think Torrent. I'm not sure. You know, like he's definitely from what I can tell and from what we're seeing, I think he's definitely on his way out. But I don't know when he leaves if he'll have any regrets on the things he did. Like I don't really know what there is he can regret. Like he came in to a shitstorm and he tried implementing the style of football that he knows, and of course he's going to do that. And whether that was successful or not, I guess we can go ahead and assume it wasn't successful. I don't really know what he could have done differently. So I don't know if he'll regret anything. He'll probably feel like he was treated a little bit unfairly in Turkey. It was probably a culture shock as well, coming here from a lot, from a much more, I guess, civilized footballing country like Spain.
Watch out with
I'm
those
sure.
words.
He was in Brazil prior to Turkey,
Yeah.
so they kind of
Yeah,
have
that's true.
like the same, culture as us. Not same, but very similar.
Yeah, well, he didn't last long there either. So
Yeah.
maybe I don't know if we can compare the two and say that the same sort of thing happened, but I would imagine in Brazil it would be a similar thing where teams don't really give you that much of a time and that much time to work with a team, and they sort of expect results on demand. I would imagine Brazil is similar to that, but yeah, I don't know when it's over and done with and he looks back at his little tenure here. I don't know if he'll regret anything. I do kind of feel bad for him, but it is what it is. Turkey's it's a different beast, man.
He shot his shot, man. That's all you can say, He took
Yeah,
the chance.
yeah.
Otherwise, what is he going to do?
That's true. He shot his shot at a very difficult task, I might add. It's not like the last time we sacked a coach who had atrocious results, who was Prandelli. Because, as I think mentioned before, I think Yasin did too, is Prandelli joined during the preseason. He started from the beginning, so to say. Torrent took over a team that is, well, rock bottom for our standards, definitely. Like 12 is just really below par. And yeah, that's all he can probably say. To me, it still feels, just like Emre said before, it still feels unjust for his tenure if he would leave at the end of the season. He barely got any transfers. He had to just work with what he has, as said before. And he's just not the coach for it. We just didn't need a system coach at this time. We needed someone to just snatch results and almost play this relegation type football, to just win ugly, but still get the points. Doesn't matter how you do it as long as you get it. That's at least my view. Mazhar, I think you wanted to say something. I heard your voice a bit, but
No, I
I'm not
disagreed
sure.
with what you were saying. Prandelli and Torrent aren't comparable. I don't know if there's people online that are comparing them, but if they are, I think they need to take a good look at themselves and in both situations. Prandelli is probably the worst coach we've ever gotten in history. Well, not probably, he was the worst coach in history. Torrent isn't that bad. As much as we love giving him crap, is really not that bad. It's just the situation's messed up. We don't have any players to begin with. Our board isn't the best, and then our coach is, I guess, he's not amazing, but he's not exactly terrible either. It's just the situation just sucks in every single way.
because if we look over to our neighbors at Beşiktaş, they recently got a new coach as well, Valerian Ismail, I believe, or Ismail. He's also not really doing that well in a way. His start has been kind of on the rough side. I think he has, so far, what was it? 1 win, like 1 loss, 3 or 4 draws. Like, it is hard to just mid-season take over a team. I think that's what we agreed all on pretty much. Like the sack, okay, maybe not the best, but I can understand it. But mid-season is just not the way to do it. Not in the state that we were and the plays that we have. It's just kind of impossible task. And as we can see, we're still at the same place. We haven't moved. You could say in a way maybe that's a good thing, I guess, but we're still 13th. Like, man, I just want the season to be over. That's my conclusion. I just want to move on to next season, have some transfers, sell some players. I don't know what, but we need to get back on top. That's all I can say. That'll definitely take time. That's true. After the game, Torrent also made some comments on our play. As in, he mentioned that he loves Muslera, for example, which I think is a good comment to make, especially for Yasin. I know he isn't here, but that's well said. He also mentioned he will be here for 1 more year, apparently. He doesn't read social media. I think that's also probably a good thing, as our fans, as you know, after one good game, they'll want to probably plant a statue of you and praise you to God. And once you lose like one game, they want to wish you death and whatever.
Yeah, like I'm sure his health would rapidly decline if he actively was on Instagram and Twitter.
I'm not gonna lie, it's like a tick of me. Whenever we play, I always go to his Insta page and go to his one post that he has with Galatasaray, and like he says that he's happy to be here, and just check comments. And then these Turks that can't spell properly, saying bye bye with like B and just a Y, stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's oh man, it's funny to see, but also sad at the same time. Anything else to add about the match? Like, we also already mentioned Muslera, but
yeah, one more thing as well. I think. So, what did you guys think about the substitutions in this match? So, I'll just go through it quick. So we had Bafetimbi Gomis. He came in for Mustafa Mohammed. Eric Pulgar came in for Chikaldao. Morutan came in for Kerem. Halil came in for Thailand. And Barish came in for Ryan Babel. Yeah, what do you guys think about that? I was pretty happy, I guess, with just from the way the match was going. I think it was pretty good subs. Gomis, I don't know, man. I'm really, really over him. So I would have probably just kept Momo in there and see what he could do, because he never plays, and he probably does want to leave. Like we mentioned earlier, the interest from France, he's probably all over that because he doesn't even see the time of day anymore. I probably would have just left him in.
Did you see his face when he was subbed off? He looked really unhappy.
He was tilted as hell.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Not a good sign.
Yeah, it would be a shame to lose him because we were, choosing Gomis for all of our matches in the second half of the season. That would be a really big shame. But otherwise, I thought it was good. We got more attackers in there. We had Pulgar in for some balance, and then Morutan, Halil, and Barish came in to try to make something happen. I was happy with that. What did you guys think of the subs?
I thought they were really late. Like, well, not all of them, but Morutan and Barish, man. Why 90th minute? Like,
yeah, those
maybe
came
I guess
late, yeah.
trying to like hold a 0-0 for as long as he can, and trying to go for like a last minute, all out attack with the fresh feet or something. Like, I don't know. My biggest concern is I don't know what it is, but why does all these other players keep playing over Momo? Like, why did Diagne keep playing over Momo? Why is now Gomis playing over Mustafa? Like, what is going on in the background that Mustafa just cannot seem to consistently start and play for 90 minutes, even though he's way younger, and we definitely know he has the energy to push the full 90 minutes. Like, what is going on? That blows my mind. Because we're thinking, fight Terim, he has no tactics. People say that. Okay, but what about Torrent? Like, this guy is like the tactic master, but yet we're seeing the same issue with him. Like, what is going on?
What are our coaches seeing that we don't? It's basically what it comes down to.
It's driving me crazy, man.
It's him.
He's our future. Mustafa's our future. And like, he's not going to get better if he's not consistently playing. So, I don't know. What do you guys think? Maz, what do you think, bro?
I think John, you can disagree with me on this, but I think there are some players that look good in training, and there's some players that don't look good in trainings. And I feel like Mustafa falls under the line of the players that don't look that good in trainings. Because I know this
Yeah,
isn't
that
just the
that could be
football.
entirely true.
There's a few sports that are like this. It's the same thing in like in basketball as well. You say, oh, why is this player getting so many minutes over another player? It's because that the first player they're usually veterans. They know what the coach wants to see, and they usually play like that in training. Like, did you guys see the post that Galatasaray posted? I think it was this week. It was about the team that won in training. It was like Arda was in that team. Like, Arda doesn't win anything anymore. You know what I mean? But I guess he's one of those.
This guy, man.
Except body fat.
I guess it's one of those.
Yeah, like that could be that could be the case for sure. Like he could just not be he could just not be looking good in training. He could not be responding well to Torrent and whatever his instructions are. Absolutely. I think the thing with that, and the reason why people get, including myself, why we get so upset with it, is because of what he looked like when he first came to the team.
Mhm.
You know, like I know we made the discussion already about players looking really, really good when they first come to the club and then they slowly decline. And we talked in the past why we think that is and stuff like that. But yeah, he looked phenomenal when he first joined, man. He was scoring left, right, and center, dangerous
Versus Fener
positions.
as well.
Yeah, exactly
Then
that. So
and then that red card incident happened, and it all went to shit, basically.
for sure. So it's like, you know, if he's playing, at least we have a chance to get that player back, you know, and a chance we could see those things again. But if he's not playing, then, you know, that hurts. We just
Exactly.
he's dead in the water, right? But what Mazhar said, it like that's totally reasonable. That could very well be the case, which is unfortunate if that's what it is. But you know, regardless, it's a little bit disappointing to see.
If Mustafa and Gomis were about the same age, I'd be more inclined to believe Mazhar. But what I'm seeing on the field from Gomis is not indicative of what I expect from a striker. Like he's not poaching. Gomis can barely run for 15 minutes, right? But Mustafa was out there crunch time, running his ass off. And I feel like he's let down by this team very often. Like he barely receives any, service, and it's just making him look bad. I don't know. I wish he can be the forefront of our team, but it just doesn't seem. I think he's gonna go to France, like you guys said. I think you just had it up to here because he goes to his national team, he scores there, but when he comes back to us, it just seems like he just disappears. Cannot get, like you said, the time of the day.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, man.
We're just misusing him, and the training part. Now that I think of it, and knowing that Torrent, was assistant manager of Pep Guardiola. Pep Guardiola is also really hard on training, if I remember correctly. Like, I believe he benched Aguero for multiple occasions just because he didn't like the way he trained. Not that he didn't work hard, but just not the way he trained. Like, stuff like that. And if Torrent has that same thought process, then that could explain the reason. But just like how Emre mentions, like, what is Torrent or Terim before seeing in these other strikes that we don't? I just don't see the added value as much, at least.
Maybe the last, because I know we have some questions and stuff to get to. So maybe the last thing I'll say about this to close it off is I'm gonna put it to you like this, okay? So, I'm no Guardiola, I'm no Dominic Torrent, I'm nothing like that. But I have been doing this for 10 years now, a decade of my life I've put into this. And I'm going to tell you this. Sometimes you have really talented players, and when it comes time to make a decision who is going to be on the pitch on match day, you include those really talented players for certain reasons. And, in my case, parents might come up to me after the game if the game didn't go our way or whatever the case is and say, why is so-and-so not playing? Or that kid's parents might come and say, why is he not playing? And I put it very simple, very simple. I'll say we had 4 training sessions this week. He was at 2 of them. The 2 of them he came to, he was late. I told him to do this, he didn't do it. I'm trying to tell him this, he's not listening. He's doing this and that. And that could very well be the situation. And for me, even if he is the most talented person on the team, doesn't come to training, shows up late to training, has a bad attitude in training, I'm talking, he's not listening, he's looking away, stuff like that, he won't be in the squad. It's literally as simple as that. He won't be in the squad. Doesn't matter how talented he is. And just like what Salih said with Pep and Aguero, that could, like, just a simple thing. He might not have liked the way Aguero's training. It just might have annoyed him, or it might not have suited what he needed, right? And that's how it goes. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case with Momo. I really wouldn't be surprised, and that's just how it goes sometimes. Sometimes the best players, they don't play, and there's certain things, they have all the talent in the world with a football at their feet, but they're lacking other things in their personality or work ethic or whatever it is. So that's just how it goes sometimes, man. I hope he returns back to, the potential we know he can reach, but we'll see how it goes, man.
We haven't seen anything regarding him having issues with the coach before, or training issues with Terim prior. So, like, you make good points, right? Like, work ethic will trump, skill eventually, right? Work hard, get to places. So, but, like, you don't ever hear him having these kind of issues, like, work ethic issues, or, like, going against the coach. Like, for multiple games when he was benched, you don't see him, like, lash out on anybody. I've never seen Mustafa mad at his teammates before, So, I don't know. Maybe you're right. Maybe there's something beneath the surface that we're missing that we don't know.
It's possible. That's all I'm saying. It's possible.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we'll never know. Or not for now, at least. But, yeah, it's a possibility. It's just a possibility based on what else could it be. Because on the pitch, I think he's the best striker we have. But he just doesn't play. I don't know. It's a weird situation that we're in. All right. Having talked enough about the game, shall we move on to some questions that we received? And
do it.
Let's see. Yeah, let's go. So the first question, asked by Barbecue Jackson on the Galatasaray subreddit, and he asked, since fans have been shitting so hard on Muslera recently, was the mistake to extend his contract? Should we even consider terminating his contract because his salary is relatively high? John,
can I just say, yeah, thank you. I'm just going to say one quick thing about it. So the main question was it a mistake to extend his contract? And my answer to that is watch our last match and you tell me.
Yeah, well said.
That's well said. He had, 10 saves? 7 from inside the box. He was pretty much our man of the match.
Literally saved John from losing out on 3 points for the prediction.
Yeah. I mean, I mean, it's like, I hate to bring it up for like the third or fourth time now, but he, aside from those saves, he brings other things to the table. Like when we were talking about the whole safety net thing and just the mentality you have when you know he's in goal. It adds a different type of confidence and calmness to when you play. And that is, how do you put a price on that? How do you measure that? How do you gauge that, right? That's such an important thing that not every player has. So it's like, no, I don't think it was a mistake to extend his contract. His salary is high, of course, but when he plays like we know he can, I don't think anyone complains about how much money he makes because, he's incredible on his day. So
let me just put it this way, and I'm gonna paraphrase this. This is from Emre Belezoğlu. He mentioned that one of the reasons why there's such a discrepancy between cups as of late between Fenerbahce and Galatasaray is mainly due to Muslera. So, think about it. Think on that. Muslera's how old? 35-ish? I'm pretty bad with ages and stuff.
35. I believe it's 35.
Yeah. So he still has a couple of years left in him. I'd rather not have to worry about replacing a keeper who we know is solid still, and have to deal with going through another Sinan Bolat situation. But we do have some, I guess, prospect with Okan Koç as a potential backup or replacement to Muslera.
Koçuk, you mean?
Koçuk? Whoops,
I know.
made the same mistake as Yasin.
Yasin. Yeah, exactly. His spirit is still here.
Yeah, carrying on the torch here. Yeah, so and that salary, it can always be negotiated. And Muslera is like one of the guys I believe would be open to negotiating a lower
think so.
salary.
Yeah,
He loves
I
the
think
club.
so.
The club loves him. I even think he's gonna be coach or a director or something down the
Yeah.
line. They better
Yeah.
build his ass a damn statue
Absolutely.
right outside the damn stadium.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love Muslera. He should stay, and then people should not listen to anybody who think he should be leaving because he has a game or two that he did, bad in. Like, get out of here, bro. Shit. How many cups did this man win you on his own? Jesus Christ.
Exactly. What else can I
That's
add?
pretty much that's all
That's
there is
pretty
to
much
say
it.
about that.
I mean, my answer on it would be the same. I don't think it's a mistake to extend the contract, given the time it happened. It's fine. He's a good keeper. He still is. Yes, he has shaky moments, and if there's one thing I maybe not like as much about him is his distribution at times. But besides that, he's a phenomenal shot stopper. Like, he does his job well, what a keeper is supposed to do. So, I think he mentions more about when Muslera makes a mistake, how probably social media or fans go ape shit, but it happens with every player when they make a mistake. I feel like
They
I
start
don't think
lynching the man.
Exactly. While, like, bro, he deserves everything. Like, this man has been with us for how many years has it now been? 11 years, I think. 11 years. He joined 2011. He deserves it. So no, I don't think it's a mistake. And the salary, although high, he deserves it more than like a Babel who earns a shit ton, or Fuguli maybe less so, but like those type of players.
Yeah, Babel
Anyway,
doesn't earn
moving on.
deserve a penny in my eyes.
Want to go next, Emre?
Sure. So this question is from Infinite Character 8 on Reddit. He seems to be a fan of Felipe Melo, my man. Okay, so his question is how the academy youth program is managed versus how it should be managed. As we can see, there's a disconnect somewhere between development and transition to the A team. Yeah. And then we have another similar question from Royal Lemonade, who's also on Reddit, and he's carrying the Mitten Oktay tag. Oh, respect. And he asks, any youngsters you guys would like to see play on our main team? What do you guys think?
I think the first part of the question about the academy. So this is my thing with academies, and I am a coach in an academy as well. So this is my thing with it. I think that in an ideal academy, you need to have, your first team, your A team in the academy should be like a template of and the example of the philosophy and how you want your teams to play, and that needs to carry down through each and every youth team, U19 all the way down. If your club has a U8 team, U8 team or U7 team, little kids, it should be when the kids are that young, 7, 8, 9, that's when the seeds are planted, and then 12, 13, 14, you see that philosophy and that style of play come to life, so that by the time they're old enough to play for the A team, they can play for the A team, and it's a seamless transition. But that doesn't seem to be a culture in Turkey, unfortunately. We have like, just look at this year, for example. The A team went from Fatih Terim, who has his own philosophy, his own ideas, to Dominic Torrent, who has totally different ideas, totally different philosophy, and that makes it a lot harder for youth players to come up and play for the first team eventually, right? So that's how it's managed, and I said how I think it should be managed in an ideal world. That's if you want to have a really successful academy. And then the second part to the question is about the youngsters who we'd like to see. I think everyone knows by now Hamza Akman is...
Akman.
Yeah, he's... I think in the summer he should start training with the first team right away. He looks really... I was so surprised in that friendly we played. He looked so calm on the ball. His decision-making was fantastic. So that was really, really good to see. He's 17, 2004 born player. So in the summer, I think it's time that he gets he gets some training time with the first team, and then maybe that season here or there he can pick up some minutes, slowly introduce like maybe 80th, 85th minute substitution, and then we can go from there. And then there's two other names that pop out, not just for me, I'm sure for everyone, but I don't know if you guys know about this one, but there's a left back. What was his name again? Tintish, I think. Emre Tintish or something like that. He played in the friendly as well. He's also a 2004 born player, and he looked really, really good as well. So, and also I watched some of the games that they play as well, the youth team, and he always looks really, really good. So I think he should probably. I don't know if he should start. I mean, if possible, he can start training with the team in the summer. But I think Hamza's a lot more like prepared for that. And then the third that comes to mind, of course, is Beknaz. So
Beknaz.
everyone knows. Yeah, everyone knows. He's kind of been on everyone's radar for some time now, since I think he was maybe 13, maybe even younger. So yeah, what do you guys think?
I want to go back to what you were saying about, about a philosophy being, ingrained into, the youngins, right? You said U19s, like start from there, like
Even
just start
younger.
from the younger team, whatever is below the A team. It's like, you know how La Masia has it, right? From a very young age, they're taught a certain philosophy and they stick with that philosophy all the way up. So they go up the ladder and make it to the A team eventually, right? And like in Turkey, everybody's just, I'll just do this, or I'll do that. There's like no proper planning with anything. I think the only team that I know that has like a decent youth academy is Altınordu.
Yep.
And everyone else is lacking severely. In a population of 80 million plus, like it's amazing that we cannot. We also talked about this. There's also an economic climate that doesn't really allow for, youth producing youth players. I don't know. There's definitely a disconnect between development and transition too. It's like we see these young players time and time again win championships in the youth divisions, right? In our youth teams, but they don't seem to be able to make it to the first team. I don't know what's going on there. Is it just I feel like a lot of it has to do with our mindset. Culture,
Yeah.
exactly. Because remember, we had Ali Yavuz Cole, man. Everyone wanted him to play. Kid does bad one game. I think it was one or two, and they just immediately wrote him off. Just immediately. This happened with Yunus to an extent as well. That's part of the reason why I think Fatih Terim sent him away. Like, it's like people are very impatient. They want to be the next Ajax, but they don't want to wait, a year or two. Let the kids play, perform. Even if it's for 20, 25 minutes, like coaches are scared to put these players in because they're going to get scolded. They're going to get scolded, and so is the player. Oh, why are you playing this kid? He's not Galatasaray material. Like, how would you know? You can't know in 2 games with like 50 minutes of total play time. That's my thought on this.
Yeah, like that's why I don't think Turkey is suited for. It's not the best environment for youth players. Like the pressure and stuff like that in Turkey it's not, and the mindset as well that people have in Turkey, it's not really suited for young players to thrive.
Look at Kerem. Do you remember Kerem's interview? We were talking about it.
Exactly. That's why I think the better approach in Turkey. See, in other leagues, like I mentioned earlier, in more I can't remember the word I used about Spain, but in like a better football country, I think teams are they're able to pull from their youth a lot easier. Like when you see like Bayern or Dortmund or Barcelona reach into the youth pool and grab someone and put them right in the first team for a match if need be. The countries like that are more suited for that sort of thing. Whereas I think a better idea in Turkey is to have a much slower approach, include players in the squad, like first get them training with the first team, Then after training with the first team, include them in a match day squad. And then after being in a few
Right.
match day squads, give them five minutes here or there, 10 minutes here or there, right? And like look at Arda Güler from Fenerbahce. That's like literally exactly what happened. Like that was the exact process, and he's doing well now. So I think you kind of have to approach it that way in Turkey, where in other countries that are a bit more, have a bit better, I guess, football culture, or however you want to put it. I think they're able to easily, easier, whatever the word is, more easily reach into the
Integrate.
yeah, like reach into the youth pool a bit easier, right? But I don't know. Like Emre said, we're a country of 80 million people, so I don't want to hear that the talent isn't there or the youth isn't there. I find that impossible. I think it's there. I just don't think that it's the youth are treated properly, and the system it's not good. It's not a good environment for youth players,
Right.
man.
It's a shame that in order for Arda Güler to even see the light of day, that the team had to be in a dire position. Like the fans were like, all right, we're not going to do anything this year. Just let the kids play. I'd rather see them play. But I promise you, if they were in a championship position, like top 3-ish, the kid would have never seen the light of day. Never. It kind of happened with us. Remember Ozan Kabak? He was literally our last option,
Resort.
and that's last resort, and that's the only reason he got to play. It's kind of upsetting
Yeah.
to see that happen.
And it's
You
like,
know?
look at that. It's so like sink or swim. Like in Ozan Kabak's
Exactly.
case, he swam, and because of that, he found moves abroad and furthered his career, which isn't really at the highest point it is right now. But still, he moved abroad and played for some really respectable clubs. Whereas, imagine if that time came and we used him and he sank. Where
Right.
would he be right now? If he'd probably be on
Thirdly.
loan somewhere, some other
Mhm.
Turkish team on loan. So
Yeah.
Man, a lot has been said. What else can I add? It's just like almost everything you guys said, from how to integrate the football culture. It's a culmination of almost everything. I think the Turkish nation, that sounded really serious. Turkey, as a culture, is just, if you look at it, we're very emotional people. We want maximum result, like least amount of effort for most stuff. And with these youngsters, they just don't come out as perfect footballers right from the academy. You need to give them time. They need to learn, adapt, and become the player that they are going to be. And just the way that we do it, just like you guys mentioned before, like Ali Awuskol, for example. I believe after how many games did he even play? 1, maybe 2. And didn't have the best of games. I believe he even deactivated his socials because he just got bombarded with insults and I don't know what from fans. And I'm like, that's
go.
just that's so unfair and so short term minded that I don't know how as a nation you would then develop. We see it as well in the coefficient points. We've been just dropping and we just keep on dropping because just as a nation we keep making these wrong decisions. And it starts from the most basic stuff from what I see. Just to give an example, because you guys live in mega cities compared to me. So from the city I'm from in Turkey, which has like a population of 100k I believe, which is of course nothing for you guys. I believe the whole city has one football club. I'm not joking. Like one team that youth, maybe 2 at most, that youth could go to and play games and be in a team like the A, the C, whatever. The city I'm from here in the Netherlands has a population of 200k, so yes, it's bigger. But I believe we have probably 20 clubs or so that kids can go to. And they're all filled with volunteers as well. Like no one's getting paid because that's what the culture is here like. Like they find sport important. Of course, there's a different economic climate over here, but people are more willing to do it compared to, let's say, our people or, in some other nation. I can't name it right now. And about the integration, because our league is so, how should I say it, again, emotional in a way, I think John's approach is best, and the example that he gave with Arda Güler, and I wish Yasin was here for it. He would have been happy that we mentioned him, but oh well. I think that method is probably best. I know it doesn't look good to just keep giving these players, like, for example, Kerem last year, just keep him like 5, 10, maybe 2 minutes at most. But if they can thrive from that and produce from that, then you can keep integrating them more and giving them more minutes, and at some point play a half maybe, or even play a full game against, when we are in next season, we're third and we play against the 18th of the league. Like, okay, surely we can now maybe use one youngster. That's how we should probably move forward, and how we can keep the mental side of the player well, and also keep the coach not being bombarded with all the comments from social media. So there's a lot wrong, I would say, in terms of just academy, our youth programs, and how our players are being integrated. One comment that also comes to mind now is Enes Ünal, when he moved, I believe, to Twente here in the Netherlands. He had an interview and he also talked about Turkish football, and basically what it came down to is he kind of said that in Turkey, just developing is just not it. It's best to move out to some European country because they know how to do it properly.
Absolutely.
And get the best out of you, compared to there. That's just like the Kerem interview, right? So we got a lot of insight from all of that.
Yeah, and if we don't improve, then that's exactly what's going to happen. Like, I'm not exactly totally opposed to, our youth players moving abroad. I think it's a lot better for them than staying in Turkey, but if we ever want to improve, then we need to change that. There needs to be some type of culture change so that youth stay in Turkey and want to stay in Turkey so we can develop them. That's how you groom players and breed players, and your clubs make money because you were able to develop players and you sell them abroad. And yeah, it's a mess in Turkey, but yeah, it is what it is. I don't know if we'll ever see change. That's just how it goes.
Let's hope for the best. Now that TFF president has been, fired, I guess, we'll get a new one. Let's see what he's going to implement. I hope it's someone with a more European mentality. I've heard people say like someone like a Hamid Altintop type person.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I know it's not going to happen. I know football is way too political.
It'll be the same shit, different toilet, man.
It's going to be some political mess again. But, oh well. Let's move on to the last question. John, you want to take this?
Yes. I'm not sure how to say it. Arzural 04? Maybe?
That's probably
close.
Right.
I don't know if it matters because his flair is Gomis, but anyways.
Shots fired.
Question is, do you think Galatasaray are strong enough to, I guess he's saying, to like compete in a title race, or do you think lower than that? So no, I don't think we're strong enough, but I do think if we have, good coaching from the start of the season to the end with no coaching interruptions, I think that we could finish, maybe in the top 4, like maybe 4th. I don't think we can win the title. I don't think we're strong enough. I think we're lacking in a lot of areas, and probably the most important, the midfield. We're literally not going to win any games without a solid midfield. So, no, I don't think we're strong enough, but possibly a top 4 finish. I think I can see that 4th or 5th is doable with this squad. I'd hope so.
And would you be satisfied with a top 4 finish, or would you say that we should push for a higher with the right transfers, of course?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I think. Like, look, we didn't become the most successful club in the country by having, a mindset where we're aiming for 4th. We want to be the best at all times, always. We want to compete at the highest level, always, the Champions League. So, yeah, if the opportunities and the resources are there to make smart transfers and have better coaching and surround the club with professionals, then we should absolutely do it. Will it happen? I'm not really sure. The summer is definitely going to be interesting and a lot of things to keep an eye on. But as it stands right now, I don't think we will ever win a title with this squad.
What about you, Emre?
Well, I'm gonna have to agree with John, this squad is missing a few players here and there that could elevate our game. But is that going to happen? Are we going to be able to get players? Because meaning, like, if we are going to buy players, that means we have to let go of some of our, players like either Marcao or Kerem or even Nelson. And I would rather keep them. But that would mean that we become loan Sarai again.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like it's like being stuck between a rock and a hard place. It's gonna be tough, but if we play our cards right, we can like challenge the top 4th place and try to go to Europe and just slowly rebuild. I don't think a title will come next year, maybe even for 2 years. But I know this is Galatasaray. We'll always challenge for it, no matter the cost. But I personally want to see us become more relevant, raise those coefficient points in Europe, whether it's Conference League or Europa League, and get back into the Champions League. Get those number 1 spots back going directly in.
Well, not directly anymore.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, raise the coefficient points to get those spots back. Because what is the championship giving us anymore? Like, first of all, the broadcast rights, everybody's trying to lowball it because of how terrible our league is. So, yeah, winning the championship barely gets you that much money anyway. You're probably better off going into Europe and going all out there opposed to going all out in Turkey because you probably make more money in the long run. And at the same time, raising the coefficient points. And it's in Galatasaray's genes, right? That's why it was like founded to beat teams that weren't Turkish. So I think that is what we'll be aiming for. That's what I hope we'll aim for. Challenge for the championship, but make
European spots.
Europe our priority first.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Got it. My take would be that, just like you guys, based on this season's performance, where we've been really poor. However, I think it's fixable if you really look past the bad performances. I mean, results, I should say, and look really at the performances. I think our defense, I know with Torrent we've been worse, but still, I don't think our defense is really the problem. Forwards, main striker, yes, like an alternative to Momo is a problem, but our wingers are fine in my books. It's mainly the midfield. Our midfield just doesn't control the game. They lose possession, they just don't win their duels. And if that can be fixed with, for example, a Xaka who plays in midfield, I do see us end up in the top 4. Only question will be how much higher. I know I sound really optimistic now. I think Trabzon, for example, next year will still be relevant. Their team that they have right now is like a very, how should I say, an established experienced team. Exactly. Beşiktaş, for example, I think they'll lose Batshuayi, and they have some really old players in there as well. So I think we might even get like a 3rd spot. Could even be possible. But again, just like John said before, with some right signings, I don't think we need just a lot of signings. We just need a few quality signings.
And the right coach.
And the right coach. So
to play for the strengths of the players, not like system coach.
So yeah, exactly.
If you're gonna bring a system coach in, you're gonna have to like find the money to, buy the players that'll fit that system, which we do not have currently, unless you sell like the most important players.
Kerem, Marcao,
who actually kept us from without them, we'd probably be relegated.
Oh, for sure.
So, I don't know.
Just like John said before, Kerem is our only attacking threat. Based on his individual skill, we're still able to get some points here and there. And Marcao and Nelson as well have been rock solid in the back. At least for their part, right? Like, as far as they can do. Of course, we still concede goals, but as far as they can influence the game. All right. Any closing thoughts for this week's match or news or whatever? Something you missed? Or
maybe we could just maybe we can. I don't know if you have the other ones, but maybe the 3 of us will just give our predictions for the next match.
The Adana match.
Yes.
Right? Yes. Okay.
Who
goes first? I think John, you should go first.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Okay. I'll defend my my title from last week. So it's a home match. This is a tricky one. This is going to be... So I think this is going to be difficult to get 3 points. But this is a tough one. I'm going to go ahead and say I think that we could pull off... I'm going to say 2-0. A win. 2-0 win.
A win.
Yeah, 2-0 win. But it will be very difficult. And I would not be surprised whatsoever if we concede. But I'm going to go out on a little bit of a limb and say a 2-0 win. Let's get it.
All right. I have that noted. And what about you, Emre? What do you think?
Well, if I were to look at Adana's past 4 games, they've lost all the games. They're not in great form. They've been conceding more than a goal. So I think I'm going to go on and say that I agree with John. I think we're going to win at home. But I think we'll concede in the process.
Classic.
2-1. 2-1? Yeah, I'll say 2-1. 2-1 win, of course.
Just like you guys, Adana has been in really poor form away as well. They seem to concede a lot of goals. Recently losing to Alanya Giresun. So, for the fact we're playing at home as well, I'm going to say that we snatch a result here. We will win, let's think. I think a 2-1 win is the most logical thing that'll happen. I bet Yunus will somehow score against us.
Yeah.
A worldie from outside the box, but we'll still snatch it. Based on their form, and we're playing at home. Like, even though we've been really horrible at this season, at home we still do relatively well. Still okay. So... That's what I will say. And on that high note, this will be a wrap. Thank you for listening. Hope to have you here next week as well. And see you next time. So, bye-bye.
Peace.
Cheers.